Let me ask you something honest. How many times have you told yourself you were going to start a garden, and then life happened? Work piled up. The kids needed attention. You forgot to water for 3 days and came back outside to find something sad and wilted sitting in a pot. Sound familiar? I've been there. Most gardeners have. But here's what nobody tells you when you're starting out. The problem usually isn't you. It's the plants you're choosing. Some vegetables are genuinely demanding. They want perfect soil, consistent moisture, specific temperatures, and your full attention every single day. Those are not beginner plants. Those are not busy person plants. The vegetables I'm about to share with you are different. These are the ones that keep going when life gets messy. They forgive missed waterings, laugh at hot weather, and come back stronger even after you've neglected them. I've watched these plants survive conditions that would destroy most others, and they still delivered a harvest. We're counting down 10 vegetables that practically grow themselves. And I need you to stick around until the very last one, because number one on this list is so low maintenance, so ridiculously rewarding, that once you plant it, it can feed you for the next 2 decades without being replanted. Not a typo. 2 decades. Let's get into it. If you're new here and you love practical gardening content that actually works for real life, hit that subscribe button right now. New videos drop every week and we're just getting started. Number 10, green onions. Let's start with something that's almost embarrassingly easy to grow. Green onions don't need seeds, don't need a garden bed, and honestly don't even need soil to get started. Take the white root ends from a bunch you bought at the store, the parts you were about to throw away, drop them in a glass of water, and within a few days you'll see fresh green shoots appearing. I remember the first time I did this. I genuinely felt like I discovered something, and that feeling doesn't go away. Green onions are incredibly fast, often giving you something to harvest within 2 to 3 weeks. But speed isn't even their best quality. Their best quality is resilience. Forget to water them, they come back. Harvest them down to almost nothing, new growth replaces it. They grow vertically, so a simple container on a balcony or windowsill can produce fresh green onions for months. Add them to eggs, soups, stir-fries, baked potatoes, anything really. These are the quiet heroes of the kitchen garden. Have you ever tried regrowing green onions from scraps? Drop your experience in the comments. I want to know how it went for you. Number 9, Swiss chard. If vegetables had personality types, Swiss chard would be the most easygoing one in the group. Too hot? Still producing. Cooler temperatures? Growing fine. Forgot to harvest last week? It's sitting there patiently waiting for you. Unlike lettuce, which often bolts and turns bitter the moment summer arrives, Swiss chard just keeps going. The colorful stems make it beautiful enough to plant in a front yard garden, but the real value is in how consistently it produces. You harvest the outer leaves, leave the center intact, and within days new leaves are already appearing. It's a system that seems to reset itself automatically. One planting can take you through an entire season. You don't replant every few weeks, you just keep harvesting. And the flexibility is real. Want baby greens for a salad? Harvest early. Need larger leaves for sautéing or adding to soups? Leave them a bit longer. Swiss chard works on your schedule, not the other way around. Number 8, kale. If you've ever assumed kale is difficult because it's so popular in health circles, let me correct that assumption right now. Kale is one of the toughest vegetables in the garden. Cold arrives and it keeps growing. Light frost hits and many varieties actually taste sweeter because of it. Unpredictable weather? Kale adapts. Once it's established, the maintenance is minimal. You pull the outer leaves, leave the center growing, and fresh growth continues appearing throughout the season. A single plant that started as a small seedling will eventually become a reliable source of greens that just refuses to quit. I've had kale plants producing well into winter in conditions that shut everything else down. It's also one of the most nutritious things you can grow. But honestly, for our purposes today, its greatest strength is dependability. Busy gardeners don't need perfect plants. They need plants that show up. Kale shows up every time. Number 7, bush beans. Most vegetables reward mistakes with failure. Bush beans seem to simply shrug and keep going. Unlike pole beans, which need trellises and support systems and ongoing management, bush beans need almost nothing from you except seeds in the ground and occasional watering during establishment. After that, they handle themselves. Many varieties start producing in around 50 to 60 days. That's fast enough to keep you motivated and productive enough to actually fill a basket. A small planting generates enough beans for multiple meals. And because the plants stay compact, they work beautifully in raised beds, containers, and smaller garden spaces. This is the kind of vegetable that makes new gardeners feel competent and experienced gardeners feel clever. You plant them, step back, and before you know it, you're harvesting. Number 6. Okra. Here's one that's almost made for the summer gardener who disappears for weeks at a time. The hotter it gets, the faster okra grows. While other garden crops begin struggling in peak summer heat, okra is accelerating. Once established, it develops deep roots that handle dry spells far better than most vegetables. Miss a watering session and it usually doesn't even flinch. The productivity is something else. Once harvesting begins, pods keep appearing for weeks and even months. And here's the thing that surprises most people. The more consistently you harvest, the more the plant produces. It's like it rewards your attention by giving you even more. Okra is also naturally resistant to many of the pest and disease issues that plague other summer crops, which means your maintenance load stays low right through the season. If you live anywhere with genuine summer heat, this plant is built for your garden. Number 5. Cherry tomatoes. I know what some of you are thinking. Tomatoes? Aren't those difficult? And the honest answer is it depends on which tomatoes you're growing. Large slicing tomatoes can be finicky. They crack, they develop disease, they sulk during temperature swings. Cherry tomatoes are a completely different experience. They grow faster, produce earlier, and keep yielding fruit long after larger varieties have given up for the season. Some plants can produce over 100 tomatoes in a season. That's not an exaggeration. That's just what happens when you plant the right variety and give it sunlight. A container on a sunny patio is enough. And because the harvest is so steady, every time you step outside, there's something to pick. That kind of consistent reward is exactly what builds a gardening habit. Cherry tomatoes don't just feed you, they keep you coming back. What's your favorite cherry tomato variety? Let me know in the comments. I'm curious what's working in different climates and regions. Enjoying this so far? If this kind of content is useful to you, subscribe and ring that notification bell. Every week I share practical, no-fluff gardening knowledge that actually fits real life. Number 4. Collard greens. Some vegetables are delicate. Collard greens are not. These plants have earned a reputation for toughness that is genuinely hard to match. Heat? They handle it. Cool weather? They handle that too. They're one of the most dependable leafy greens you can grow, full stop. The harvesting process is exactly what a busy gardener wants. Remove the lower leaves as you need them, and let the center continue growing. New leaves replace the old ones continuously, creating a steady supply of food all season long. There's no complicated technique, no special timing. You take what you need, and the plant just keeps producing. Collards also recover from problems that would seriously damage more sensitive crops. Unexpected temperature swings, inconsistent watering, imperfect soil. They adapt, they endure, and they keep feeding you when other greens have long stopped. Number 3. Zucchini. There's a running joke among gardeners that during zucchini season, you start locking your car in the driveway. Because if you leave it unlocked, your neighbors will fill it with zucchini they can't get rid of. That joke exists because it's not entirely wrong. A healthy zucchini plant can produce 20, 30, even 40 fruits in a single season. That's a remarkable amount of food from a single plant in a relatively small space. And despite that extraordinary productivity, the plant asks very little. Give it full sunlight, reasonable water, and room to spread, and it takes care of the rest. It grows quickly, it flowers heavily. It begins producing harvests faster than most gardeners expect. A few plants can generate more food than a family can eat fresh, which means you're also learning to cook with it in new ways, sharing with neighbors, and still coming back for more. For busy gardeners, this is almost the perfect crop. You put in the work once, and the plant pays you back for months. Number 2, sweet potatoes. Most people think of sweet potatoes as the harvest, the roots you dig up at the end of the season. And yes, that harvest can be stunning. A small planting produces an impressive number of sweet potatoes, and they're one of the most calorie-rich crops any home gardener can grow. But what makes sweet potatoes genuinely special for busy gardeners is what happens between planting and harvest. The vigorous vines spread across the soil, covering ground and naturally suppressing weeds as they grow. That's less work for you. They're also surprisingly drought-tolerant once established. Their root systems go deep, giving them access to moisture that shallower plants can't reach. Throughout the season, they don't demand your attention. They don't need constant pruning or management. They simply grow. And here's the bonus that most people never talk about. The leaves are edible too. Young sweet potato leaves can be cooked like any other green, so you're actually harvesting twice from the same plant. And now, number 1, asparagus. I told you this one would stop you, and here's why. Every single vegetable on this list requires replanting each year. You start over, put in the initial effort, and wait for the season to play out. Asparagus is completely different. Once established, an asparagus bed can continue producing harvests for 15 to 20 years. Some well-maintained beds go even longer. Think about that for a moment. One planting, decades of harvests. Now, asparagus does ask for your patience up front. The first couple of years are spent letting the plants build strong, deep root systems. You don't harvest yet. You wait. And for a lot of gardeners, that waiting feels frustrating. But here's how I want you to think about it. You're not waiting, you're investing. Because once that bed is established, your workload drops dramatically while the rewards keep multiplying. Every spring, tender spears push up from the soil almost like they're on a timer. You harvest. The plants grow out into their ferny foliage. Then the following year, you do it again. Same plants, same bed, year after year after year. This is the philosophy at the heart of smart gardening. The best gardens aren't the ones that require the most effort. They're the ones designed to keep producing with the least. Asparagus is that idea made real. Plant it once and it will outlast most things in your garden. Here's what I want to leave you with. Success in gardening almost always comes down to plant selection. You can be an inconsistent, imperfect, busy gardener and still produce more food than you expected as long as you're choosing the right plants. Start with just 2 or 3 from this list. See what works in your space and your climate. Build confidence with small wins. The habit grows from there. Which of these 10 are you most excited to try? And if you're already growing any of them, I genuinely love to hear how they're performing in your garden. Leave it in the comments below. Let's build a conversation. And if you got value from this video, subscribe. It's free, it helps more than you know, and I promise every video I put out is worth your time. See you in the next one. Thanks for watching.